Discover how Catherine de' Medici's wedding night revealed a hidden transformation into an incredible saga of community unity. In the quaint little town of Maplewood, where the sun painted the fields gold and the scent of freshly baked pies filled the air, Clara Thompson was more than just a history teacher, she was a keeper of stories. At 33, with unyielding passion, she infused her classroom with tales of ancestors and legacies that shaped their community. She poured her heart into videos, newsletters, and spirited discussions, but inside her late grandmother's blue clapboard house, the past sometimes felt more present than ever, filled with family heirlooms that whispered traditions and memories. One evening, while tidying up her grandmother's old bedroom, Clara uncovered a forgotten treasure. Beneath a loose floorboard, she found a fragile letter, dilapidated with age. As she read the words detailing Catherine de' Medici's wedding night, Clara felt a spark. It wasn't just a historical account, it was a narrative of transformation that kindled her imagination. If this night ignited societal changes centuries ago, she thought, why couldn't Maplewood celebrate its own history? Her heart raced with inspiration, dreaming of a town event that would echo with stories of shared heritage. Yet, as she shared her vision with neighbors over backyard barbecues, not everyone echoed her enthusiasm. Charles Everett, the local businessman known for his iron grip on commerce, saw Clara's project as a threat to his plans for a swanky new shopping center. An unease bloomed in town like a wilting flower, as families were torn between the warm glow of Clara's nostalgia and the seductive financial advances promised by Charles. Clara's heart ached for her neighbors, their stories, their histories, but she knew they faced a choice that could reshape their community. As congratulatory voices began to lift her spirit, Clara could feel the weight of an uncertain future looming. The kids in her class spoke of the stories their parents endured, sparking a fire she'd never anticipated. A mother bravely recounted tales of ancestors who had tilled the land, an elderly gentleman reminisced about the vibrant festivals of old. With each story, the fabric of Maplewood began to weave itself tighter, renewing a sense of unity and identity. But just as hope seemed within their grasp, Charles unleashed his campaign of doubt, whispering in dark corners that Clara's event would only lead to hardships. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The days pressed on, the pressure enveloping Clara like a tightening tether, but the stories kept bubbling to the surface. A mother linked her son to their roots, a young girl shared a legend of their town. Clara felt invigorated amidst the uncertainty, each tale a reminder of her community's resilience. But as the event drew near, whispers turned into schemes, and Clara learned of a plot that could crumble her efforts to dust. The once united voices now faced growing tensions. Would the soul of Maplewood crack beneath the weight of modernity? Would history linger like an unwelcome ghost or be celebrated in the light? Clara stood at the crossroads of hope and despair, knowing deep down that the spirit of Maplewood could either soar or shatter. As she prepared to confront Charles one last time, anxiety twisted within her. Would her neighbors rally for the forever fading memories or chase the modern dream that flickered like a neon sign? With everything at stake, Clara clung to a flicker of hope, ready to fight for the identity that Maplewood deserved. The question hung heavy in the air: could they come together in solidarity when the future felt so precarious? Clara took a deep breath as she made her way to the town hall. The meeting was less than an hour away, and she could feel the nervous energy radiating from her as if the weight of Maplewood rested on her shoulders. She wanted to capture the voices of her community, but the shadows of doubt cast by Charles loomed large. As she entered the town hall, a familiar warmth from her neighbors greeted her. They were huddled in small groups, whispers filling the air, but Clara noticed fewer smiles than usual. Would they still believe in her vision? Would they stand by the dreams of a legacy that connected them all to the land they loved? As she walked to the front of the room, Clara's heart raced. The walls felt like they were closing in, but she steadied herself, reminding herself of the stories shared with her, the passion ignited, and the community's spirit shimmering beneath the surface. She opened her notes but found her words muddled with emotion. "Thank you all for being here," her voice trembled. "I know the future looks bright with promises from Charles. A shopping center brings revenue and jobs. I understand that. But Maplewood isn't just about profit. Look at our faces, our families, those stories we shared. Let us celebrate who we are. Let us look back while we step forward." A lone voice rose from the audience. It was Mary Jenkins, the town's librarian, her brow furrowed with concern. "Clara, what if Charles is right? What if we can't sustain this project? What if this history doesn't interest the younger generation?" Clara felt like the ground was slipping beneath her feet. Mary's question hung heavy, burdening the air. A murmur echoed through the crowd, doubts creeping like a fog. Clara's heart sank, she had to push back against that fear. "What if we instead choose to inspire?" she replied, her voice steadying. "What if we come together to weave a new story into the fabric of our town? Children learning from their past can create a brighter future. We've seen the power of our shared legacy, igniting excitement even amongst the youth." Across the room, she saw nods, some children lifting their heads. There was a flicker of understanding there. But then, Charles stepped forward, slick as oil. His confidence, sharp and unsettling, filled the room as he dismissed her words with a wave. "Clara, you're living in a dream. The past is charming, but we're in the business of making a future. Don't let nostalgia blind us from grasping real opportunities." The tension was palpable. Clara felt the town torn in two. Anger bubbled in her chest, but she couldn't lose her cool. "What do you want our town to be, Charles? A string of empty stores or a community bonded by shared stories? We're not just roots, we're a beautiful, living tree." A woman from the back shouted, "I want my children to know where they come from." Others chimed in, rallying their voices together. Slowly, the tide began to shift. But just as the spark of unity ignited, another voice pierced through Clara. "Wait. Are we prepared for the pushback? Is this worth breaking friendships for?" Clara looked across the sea of faces, a mix of hope and fear shining back at her. She could feel the ground shifting again, a new path unfurling before her. "Isn't it time we show what it truly means to be a community?" she challenged, knowing everything hinged on this moment. "It's about more than just today, it's our legacy at stake here. What do we want to leave behind?" Then, the unexpected happened. A brave voice from the crowd announced, "Count me in." Others echoed support, raising their hands as if grasping for light in the dark, but Clara could see the worry still reflected in some eyes. With the mood shifting back and forth like a pendulum, Clara's heart raced. Could they really unite, or was the schism too deep to heal? As she looked around, bravely meeting each gaze, one thing became clear: this was just the beginning. The real fight for Maplewood was coming, and it was going to take everything they had. With her spirit ignited, Clara realized she wasn't just fighting for her vision anymore. She was fighting not just for the past, but for the heartbeat of their shared future, and she needed everyone on board. But would they really come together when the stakes were this high? What lay ahead could either bring them closer or tear them apart forever. The chatter in the town hall surged, growing louder as the crowd wrestled with their emotions. Clara's heart raced at the shifting tides of sentiment. Could her community truly unite behind her and reject the allure of Charles's shiny proposal? She felt the weight of their doubts, but beyond the fear lay a flicker of hope, urging her forward. "Look, we've all been talking," Clara called out, her voice now ringing with fervor. "But talking's not enough. It's time for action. We've got to believe we can do more than just survive, we can thrive." A few heads turned, curiosity piqued, but Clara noticed some still looked hesitant. She took a step closer, leaning in. This isn't just about a quaint history lesson or a shopping center. It's about our children learning resilience. It's about holding on to what makes Maplewood unique in a world that wants to erase our stories. She locked eyes with Mary Jenkins, who still wore that concerned expression. "Mary, you care about these kids. Let us show them a future intertwined with their own roots. Let us be the generation that sets the stage for the next one, not just gives them a blueprint but hands them the tools to craft their own." As the words slipped from her tongue, Clara envisioned the laughter of children in new community spaces, the joy of families gathering for festivals that celebrate their heritage. The thrill of storytelling evenings where tales from the past dance with dreams of the future. "And what about this?" Clara pressed on, sensing the tide shifting. "If we create a community center, filled with art and culture and history, we draw in not just the old-timers but the new families. We create a magnet for the younger generation. If we build it together, they will come." "I admire your passion, Clara, but what if it doesn't work?" Another voice echoed in uncertainty. It was Mr. Thompson, a longtime farmer. "What if we fail, and all we're left with is empty promises?" An ache formed in Clara's chest at his words. What if they did fail? But then, she remembered the stories that held them bound together, their shared laughter, hardships, and victories. "Then we try again," she declared with conviction. "Don't we owe it to our ancestors to give it our best shot? Let that be our legacy, the courage to redefine ourselves and uplift each other." The room began to hum. She could see more members of the crowd straightening their backs, resolutely nodding along. Just then, a bright, young voice piped up from the back. "I want to help." It was Rachel, a local teenager who had grown up listening to the tales of Maplewood's history. Clara's heart swelled. Rachel had grown up in the same stories, and she saw the spark of excitement there. With that spark, the energy transformed. Clara looked around and saw hands beginning to rise, voices rallying behind the steady rhythm of hope. "If you're in, let me hear you. Let us fill the room with what we can achieve together." A wave of agreement rippled through the hall. "Together." One shouted. "Let us get to work." Another called, and soon the room erupted into laughter and chatter, blending into a unified chorus of support. But even as Clara relished this moment, a shadow flitted across her thoughts. Would Charles retreat quietly? Would he instigate further discord to maintain control? Clara felt a tightening in her chest. It was far from over. As she surveyed the energy in the hall, a sense of urgency surged through her. The fight was just beginning, and she sensed a storm rising on the horizon. Standing at the front of the room, Clara felt the stakes all too clear. "All right, Maplewood," she called out, rallying their spirits once more. "Let us get to work. But remember, we need to keep each other close. If we backslide, if we let fear catch up with us, we have to fight it together." Loud cheers erupted, but as Clara stepped down from the podium, she couldn't shake the unease clinging to her. What would be Charles's next move? She knew in her heart that they were on the brink of something monumental, but would they be able to weather what was coming? As the hall buzzed with excitement, one thing was crystal clear: they were in for a battle that would shape the very foundation of their community. Would they emerge cohesive and strong, or would the fissures of doubt tear them apart when it mattered most? As Clara made her way through the throng of hopeful faces and busy hands, she felt a swell of determination coursing through her. Inspiration bloomed around her, lighting the air like fireflies at dusk. It was exhilarating, but a part of her remained tethered to the uncertainty that still loomed overhead. The voices that filled the room were vibrant and electric, but Clara couldn't ignore that dark whisper gnawing at the back of her mind: Charles wouldn't simply concede defeat. He was too proud for that. "Okay, let us break this down," she called out, motioning for everyone to round up into smaller groups. "We need ideas, we need plans, we need a strategy. Who knows what kind of activities would draw families here? Who has hobbies we can share? We should be brainstorming everything from arts and crafts to local history nights. The energy burst into action. People dove into discussions, animated gestures punctuating their words. Clara stepped back for a moment and let the scene wash over her. Joy swirled in the air, each voice adding to a vibrant tapestry of community spirit. Yet, she could feel the tension like a storm brew around the edges, a mix of hope and worry. "Hey, Clara." It was Rachel again, her voice cutting through the chatter. "What if we start a mural project? It could tell our story, the history of Maplewood. I know a bunch of kids who'd want to do it, and we could even hold a paint day to invite everyone." Clara's heart raced again, not just from Rachel's idea, but the unity echoing in her words. "That's brilliant. A mural could show the heart of who we are. Let us do it." Clara clapped her hands, encouraging the bubbling excitement. Just then, Mr. Thompson approached. His brow was furrowed, and for the first time, there was a sense of urgency in his demeanor. "Clara, you need to be careful. I just heard some whispers. Charles is not one to back down quietly. He's got his people working on this. We might need to think defense. What if he tries to put up a fight against our plans?" Clara swallowed hard, her mind racing. The warmth of hope began to chill, as the reality of Mr. Thompson's words sank in. "We'll handle it together," she said, though she couldn't shake the tension gnawing at her stomach. As the evening wore on, brainstorming sessions transformed into planning committees. Laughter filled the hall, but each echo carried a hint of trepidation. Clara's group was tasked with gathering data, reaching out to local businesses for potential partnership and support. "Let us create a community event to rally even more people behind us," someone suggested. "A festival to celebrate Maplewood's heritage." "Yes. A festival," Clara exclaimed, her heart igniting again at the thought. "Let us call it Maplewood Revival. We'll gather stories, host games, showcase our local artists. It'll be more than a festival, it'll be a declaration of who we are." More hands were raised, voices joined, cogs turning in the once idle wheel of Maplewood. Excitement bubbled like fresh soda, but a flicker of doubt still danced in Clara's heart. Was the town truly ready for the battle that lay ahead? As the discussions continued, Clara caught sight of the townsfolk's faces, pride, passion, and hope intertwining. Yet, just outside the doors of their gathering, she felt an ominous pull, as inevitable as the turning of leaves in autumn. That night, as Clara lay in bed, dreams and nightmares spun side by side in her mind. What if Charles did not just threaten their plans, but was plotting something more ruthless? With the rosy glow of hope still fresh in her heart and the shadow of fear close behind, Clara turned over and wondered how they would navigate the storm to come. But deep down, she felt it was only the beginning. How far was she willing to go to protect Maplewood? Would the fire in her heart burn fiercely enough to fuel a fight against the tides that threatened to swallow them whole? The following morning, Clara found herself at the local diner, the scent of pancakes and freshly brewed coffee wrapping around her like a warm hug. She needed the energy. With the festival plans on her mind, she grabbed a booth by the window, ready to brainstorm some more. As she sipped her coffee, her thoughts darted between excitement and anxiety. What could they do to ensure the town rallied behind Maplewood Revival? Clara glanced around the diner, her heart lifting as she took in the familiar faces, friends, neighbors, and even those she hadn't spoken to in a while. A sense of belonging bubbled within her. "Good morning, sunshine. You look like you're plotting world domination," teased Mary, the waitress, with a grin as she filled Clara's cup. "I wish it was that easy," Clara chuckled, shaking her head. "But I'd settle for a festival that brings everyone together. Do you think people are ready for it?" Mary raised an eyebrow. "If anyone can get the town fired up, it's you, Clara. You've got a spark. Just give them something to rally around." The words resonated. Clara felt a renewed sense of purpose flood through her. But she also sensed shadowing doubt, like clouds gathering just at the edges of a sunny day. "Maybe we could even have a bake-off." Clara mused aloud, her mind bouncing with ideas. Everyone loves pie, right? It'll be a great way to get the community involved and showcase local talents. That's the spirit. And I know just about everybody in town makes amazing pies, Mary said, her eyes twinkling with enthusiasm. Get some of those recipes back in circulation, and you'd be golden. Smiling, Clara scribbled down more ideas. But even as the momentum picked up, memories of Mr. Thompson's warning surfaced. Charles wouldn't sit by and let them take his spotlight. The thought of his disdain toward her rallied her spirit. We can't just sit back and wait for him to make his move. We've got to show the town we can have fun, be proud, and that we're unified. As she left the diner, Clara felt a surge of determination swell inside her. She needed to gather more supporters, but they needed a compelling reason to join. She envisioned flyers, vivid posters, and town meetings. Every face in town deserved a say, and she knew she had to reach out. On her walk through Main Street, Clara paused at the edge of the park, where the annual fall festival was usually held. She could almost see the laughter, the children chasing each other, the aroma of popcorn and funnel cakes hanging in the air. It was a stark contrast to the looming threat she felt from Charles. Suddenly, a clamor broke her thoughts as she heard raised voices from a small group gathered nearby. Curiosity piqued, she walked over to find Mr. Thompson in a heated discussion with someone Clara recognized as Charles' right-hand man, Bill. Maplewood needs to remain a community space, not a corporate playground. Mr. Thompson was saying, his tone firm and unwavering. Bill's smirk was unsettling. You think Clara can outshine what we have planned? She's wasting her time on a silly festival. We have bigger plans that benefit everyone. Clara felt her breath hitch. Bigger plans? She echoed, stepping closer, the weight of their gazes shifting toward her. Bill sneered at her. This is just the beginning. You're meddling in things you don't understand. Clara, her heart raced as she sensed he wasn't just talking about the festival. There was an undercurrent of something far more sinister at play. Leave my town out of whatever you're planning, Clara shot back, gathering her resolve, but the shadow of fear crept back in. As Clara walked away, the weight of their exchange settled in. The gauntlet had been thrown, and tensions were thick. How far would Charles go to take control of Maplewood? And what sacrifices would Clara have to make to keep her town safe? In that moment, she realized this battle was far from just an event. It was a fight for the spirit of the community she held dear. But how much was she willing to risk? And as she prepared for the coming storm, one thing was clear, the real fight had only just begun. Clara walked swiftly down the street, her mind swirling with thoughts of the confrontation. Each step felt heavier than the last, not just from the weight of Bill's words but from the reality of what was at stake. She paused to take a deep breath, inhaling the crisp fall air mixed with the faint scent of cinnamon from a nearby bakery. She needed allies. Gathering support meant reaching out to those who once shared in the joy of past festivals or any community gathering. But doubts crept in. Would they listen? Was she more than just the town's dreamer? The bell above the local bookstore chimed as Clara entered. The cozy space, with its shelves filled to the brim with old books and new bestsellers, made her feel momentarily safe. Mrs. Finley, the owner, was arranging fall-themed displays. "Clara, dear. You look like you've seen a ghost," Mrs. Finley said, her brow creasing in concern. Clara forced a smile, taking a seat in the reading nook where sunlight streamed through the windows. "I'm all right," she lied. "Actually, I need your help. We're planning a festival in Maplewood, but I think Charles is going to try to sabotage it." Mrs. Finley's eyes widened. That man has no respect for tradition. The town needs something to unify it, not tear it apart. "That's what I thought," Clara said, leaning forward. "Will you help us spread the word? If we could get enough people on board, count me in. After all, a bake-off wouldn't be the same without my apple cider pie recipe making an appearance," she said with a wink. It was the support Clara needed. They discussed ideas, games for kids, booths for local artisans, how to incorporate the beloved traditions that had begun to fade. The more they talked, the lighter Clara's heart felt. Before Clara knew it, a plan was forming, and it felt strong, just like the town she loved. She thanked Mrs. Finley and stepped back into the late afternoon warmth, her spirits lifted for the first time that day. She headed toward the town hall, determined to discuss a community meeting with Mayor Harris. If they could unite, they could stand strong against whatever Charles and his crew were plotting. As she walked, the idea of a community meeting turned into a vision of camaraderie, a gathering where Maplewood would come together, shared histories celebrated, and laughter ringing out. The image felt alive, vibrant like the colors of the falling leaves. However, that hopeful thought was abruptly interrupted when she turned the corner by the park. It seemed like an ordinary day, but in the shadow of the old oak tree stood Charles himself, deep in conversation with a couple of townsfolk. Clara's heart sank. She felt the truth of her fears. Charles was already spreading his influence, and she needed to act fast. "Let us make this festival happen," she whispered to herself, her hands clenching into fists. She could feel the pulse of Maplewood beneath her feet, its history, its spirit, and what it could become. Would it be enough to rally everyone before it was too late? As dusk began to blanket the town in shades of purple and gold, Clara's resolve hardened. Tomorrow, she would stake her claim and stand up to Charles. But first, she needed to gather her ideas and lay out her strategy. The weight of importance pressed on her as she headed home, but a flicker of hope ignited within. Could she be the catalyst that revived not just dreams but the heart of her town? And just then, amidst the uncertainty, a bold thought struck her. What if her festival ignited something more, something that bound every resident of Maplewood together in a way they had never expected? Tomorrow, she'd find out. As the sun dipped behind the horizon, Clara entered her home, a small quaint building filled with cherished memories. The familiar squeak of the wooden floorboards welcomed her, yet the weight on her heart felt foreign. She dropped her bag on the kitchen table and took a seat. In that moment, her thoughts raced through the events of the day like leaves caught in an autumn gust. What was she even truly afraid of? Charles had the town's ear, but was his influence as deep as he wanted her to believe? The very thought made her stomach churn. She could picture him now, smiling confidently, weaving stories that would spin doubt and confusion into the hearts of those she needed most. Clara stood up suddenly, her decision firming within her. "I want to let fear dictate my actions," she murmured, feeling invigorated. She hurried to grab her notebook, the one filled with sketches and ideas for the festival. Each doodle reflected her passion, a carousel of vibrant colors, booths brimming with handmade crafts, faces young and old smiling as they danced to music echoing in the air. Her vision was tangible, a tangible thread that connected dreams to reality. She began to write a list of people to reach out to, friends from high school, local shop owners, even the teenagers who had once performed at the town events. Each name was a step toward revival. The warmth bubbled in her chest as she imagined their faces lighting up with excitement, joining her cause. She pictured her former classmates, those who had shared laughter and moments on festival days, gathering once again. Just as her mind began to settle into a rhythm, the phone rang, shattering her focus. Clara's heart leaped. This can't be. She grabbed it with trembling hands, almost afraid of who might be calling. "Clara? It's Bill," the voice came through the receiver, sounding urgent. "Bill? Is everything all right?" she asked, a rush of concern tightening her throat. "I just saw Charles speaking with some of the local influential families," he replied, breaths quickening. "Look, I think he is planning something to stop you." Her excitement turned to dread. She needed to act fast, but how? Should she confront him directly, or play a subtle game of her own? "Bill, let us meet," she replied firmly. "We need to figure out our next steps." After a quick exchange, they agreed to meet in an hour at the diner on Main Street. Clara made her way out, determination shaping each step forward. The crisp night air brushed against her skin, invigorating her spirit. As she walked through the quiet streets of Maplewood, her mind spun with strategies and the incredible power of community. In that moment, she realized something profound. It wasn't just about her festival. It was about proposing a possibility for unity, for connection, and a future that everyone could share. She would rally them not only to save an event, but to reignite their collective spirit. Her heart thudded in her chest at the thought. How far could a simple festival take them? Could it truly heal the divides that brewed within Maplewood? As she approached the diner, the neon lights flickered cheerfully, but her resolve was even brighter. What would happen if they all stood together, bold and unyielding? Before she could ponder the question further, Clara pushed through the door, determined to find the answers that could secure her dream. But little did she know, the confrontation with Charles would reveal more than just tension. It would uncover layers of history and hidden truths that would change everything. What secrets lay buried beneath the surface of her seemingly perfect town? The diner buzzed with the low hum of conversations and the clatter of silverware on plates. Clara slid into a booth in the back corner, glancing at her watch. Bill was late. She tapped her fingers nervously on the laminated surface as her pulse quickened with each passing second. Anxiety gnawed at her, twisting her stomach as she replayed Bill's words in her mind. Charles was up to something, and she felt like a pawn on a chessboard, unsure of her next move. The bell on the door chimed, and Clara's heart lifted when she saw Bill stride in, his face set with determination. He slid into the booth across from her, wiping his brow as though he'd just run a marathon. "Sorry, I had a few things to take care of," he said, catching his breath. "Did you hear what I said on the phone?" "We need to move fast," Clara replied, her voice firm despite the fluttering in her chest. "I did. Believe me, I know. Look, I overheard some pretty alarming things." Bill leaned in closer, dropping his voice. "Charles is planning to hold a meeting with the local business owners tomorrow night. He's got some pretty influential people in his corner, and they're not going to be quiet about it. He wants to squash your festival before it even has a chance to take off." Clara's breath caught in her throat. The stakes were higher than she imagined. "But if we get to them first, have a gathering of our own, bring in everyone who supports the festival, they won't stand a chance." Bill looked wary. "It's not that simple, Clara. You know that. People are scared and fear is his ally. We need a strategy that'll knock him off his pedestal." She knew he was right, but the fire inside her refused to dim. "We have to gather all the support we can get. This isn't just about the festival anymore, it's about reclaiming our community pride. We can show them that the spirit of Maplewood is stronger than his manipulation." Bill nodded, eyes brightening at her idea. "You might be onto something. If we spread the word fast, get everyone united, we could confront him together. But we need a plan, something impactful." Clara's mind whirred. They could organize a town meeting, a chance for everyone to voice their concerns and come together. What if we create a rallying point, a space where people can express their memories of past festivals and share what the event means to them? Perfect. Bill smiled, his enthusiasm infectious. "We can set it up for tomorrow evening, right before his meeting. That'll put pressure on him. If we stand together, he won't be able to deny our voices." Suddenly, nostalgia washed over Clara. She could see the green fields filled with laughter, the vibrant booths, the community they shared. But there was something deeper too, an unspoken bond that the town had slowly forgotten. "Bill," she said, her voice lowering. "We have to remind them. It's not just a festival, it's about who we are. What binds us together, we need to remind everyone about that." Bill leaned back, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. "And if we speak from the heart, maybe we'll reach them. Maybe we can pull them back from the fear Charles has instilled." They both fell silent, the weight of their mission settling between them like a heavy cloak. It was scary, yet thrilling. The feeling of belonging and hope flickered in Clara's chest. Without warning, the bell over the diner door rang again. As they turned to glance, a group of familiar faces entered: old friends, townsfolk, everyone she dreamed of gathering. "Clara!" one of them called, waving. Clara's heart raced. This was it. This was the moment she needed. Could this be the first step towards reclaiming their town and her dream? But as she stood, ready to speak, that familiar knot in her stomach twisted again. What if she had miscalculated? What if their efforts only fueled Charles's fire? As she opened her mouth, the door swung open once more, and in walked Charles, his eyes scanning the room. What had she started? Clara's heart dropped as Charles's piercing gaze fell on her booth. The last thing she wanted was for him to think he could intimidate her. His presence loomed large, chilling the warm air of the diner. She clenched her fists under the table, fighting back a wave of panic. "Isn't this cozy?" Charles's voice dripped with sarcasm as he approached. "Looks like a reunion I didn't get the memo for." He was dressed sharply, just as he always was, the fabric of his suit whispering power. "Just a casual get-together," Bill shot back, the tension in his posture evident. "Casual? Right." Charles smirked, glancing around at the townsfolk who had gathered. "Let us hope it stays that way. I know some people are concerned about that little festival idea of yours, Clara." Clara squared her shoulders, refusing to back down. "The festival is happening, Charles. We want to let you silence us." "Oh, I want to silence you. I'll just make sure you understand the consequences of challenging me," he said, leaning in closer, his smile fading. "Make no mistake, I have connections that you couldn't begin to understand. You're not fighting just me, you're rattling a boat that houses some very dangerous fish." The diner buzzed in response. Whispers broke out amongst the crowd, eyes darting between Clara and Charles. It felt like the earth shifted beneath her feet, all that confidence teetering dangerously. Her heart raced, but she couldn't show weakness, not now. "Then let us speak," Clara said, finding a strength deep within. "Let us have our voices heard. We deserve to stand for our community, for our traditions. Not everyone bows to fear." Charles studied her, the flicker of irritation flashing across his face. "We'll see how long your courage lasts when the realities hit." With that, he turned and waved to a few of his associates who stood by the entrance, signaling for them to join. Clara swallowed hard, knowing this was not just a battle of words anymore. She could sense the growing apprehension surrounding her. But she looked at the familiar faces of her friends, their support solid and resilient. They mattered more than Charles's threats. "Folks!" Bill exclaimed, standing up and calling out to those gathered. "We've all felt the weight of fear lately, haven't we? But this festival represents something bigger than any of us. It's about hope, our history, and our future as a community." Soft murmurs faded into renewed cheers, each voice bolstered by the last. Clara felt the atmosphere shift, excitement blooming as they rallied together, a chorus of resolve. "I remember my first festival. This town came alive. We were a family," Clara added, her voice fuller and steadier now, each word soaked in emotion. "We can't let anyone take that from us. We owe it to each other to preserve our legacy." Charles stepped back, his expression darkening. It was clear he didn't like seeing their united front. He was a storm gathering, but they were sunlight breaking through. As Clara scanned the crowd, she saw determination mirrored in their faces. This was the true heart of Maplewood, their collective spirit, and it sparked a fire within her. "A rally tomorrow evening. Everyone who believes in the power of our community." She called, not caring about the noise, she needed them to hear her. "Let us show Charles what it means to be Maplewood strong." Cheers erupted, hands clapping, laughter broke through the tension. Even in that moment of chaos and uncertainty, hope glimmered, the power of their community rising like a phoenix. Clara felt alive, like finally, they might win this battle. But just then, from the far corner, a figure stepped forward, one of Charles's allies, with a knowing smile. She recognized him, and her stomach dropped. "Interesting proposal," he said smoothly. "But let us talk about what happens if this rally goes awry." What new game was Charles playing? Clara's heart raced as uncertain dread twisted in her gut. Could their growing unity withstand whatever Charles and his allies had planned? The tension in the diner sharpened like a knife's edge. Clara's heart thundered as Charles's ally spoke, his voice oily and laced with veiled threats. She exchanged determined glances with Bill, hoping they could navigate whatever was coming. "Let us focus on community, not conflict," Clara replied, her voice smooth but steady. Panic trickled beneath the surface as she tried to recall moments when Maplewood's spirit had triumphed over fear. "This isn't just a rally, it's a celebration of who we are." The crowd began murmuring again, but this time they rallied themselves with whispers of solidarity. Clara could see budding confidence blooming in faces that once seemed hesitant. Old friends, young couples, kids clinging to parents, each one of them carried stories, histories that bound them together. "Do you really think you can steer us into fear?" Clara challenged, locking eyes with the unsure townsfolk. "Let us be part of something greater than ourselves. The last festival reminded us all of our strengths and how we come together." She could feel the words slow, their power igniting around her. Charles's ally smirked, unfazed. "Is that what you call a strength? A gathering of nostalgia? Or is it a mask for your failure?" An audible gasp rippled through the crowd. Clara's eyes narrowed, she refused to let their spirit dim. "Strength isn't just facing challenges, it's about our love for our community." She raised her voice, commanding attention. "Every single one of us has the power to shape Maplewood's future, to preserve its legacy." The din grew louder. People were nodding, eyes gleaming with renewed faith. Clara's heart soared. She could feel a ripple of connection tugging through the crowd. This moment could unify them beyond the singular event. The very language of home filled the air. Remember how it felt to dance in the streets? To share laughter across picnic tables? To feel that bond that made us all feel whole? Clara pressed on, gesturing widely. "Tomorrow, we can show Charles and anyone else with doubts that Maplewood is still here. We're still alive." Hands raised up high, clapping, cheers erupted. People began to chant Maplewood strong. The clamor intensified, echoing off the diner's walls, wrapping Clara in a blanket of hope and strength. She could feel the joy bubbling like a festivity waiting to erupt. Yet, Charles remained poised, seemingly unfazed, but Clara sensed the cracks in his facade. There was fear hiding behind that false smile, fear of their unity. Bill shot her a supportive glance from across the table, and that slight nod affirmed her to stride forward. "Tomorrow night, we'll gather not just for a festival but for a declaration," Clara called out to the thrumming crowd. "Highlighting our roots. Our stories. Our people." She noticed Mary Jenkins widening her smile, waving at the crowd a symbol of solidarity. Then, the elderly Mrs. Finley echoed, "I'll bring my famous apple cider pie. And let us tell stories while we taste it." "Yes. The stories," Clara said, feeling the energy pulsating around her. "Everyone. Bring a piece of your history." As ideas poured in, excitement in the room turned tangy with sweetness. Each person contributed a new layer, shaping the spirit of it all into something real and vibrant. But Clara sensed imminent danger. She couldn't shake the feeling Charles would strike harder now, wouldn't he let this energetic steamroll go unchecked. That thought hovered above them like a dark cloud, but they had to focus on what lay ahead. The gathering in the diner transformed into plans for the festival and rally. There was laughter, even amidst the uncertainty. Clara felt alive, like the heartbeat of Maplewood thrummed in time with hers. After a whirlwind of mapping, gathering ideas, and reminders, Clara stood in front of the crowd one last time. "Let us give Maplewood a night to remember." Her words sparked joy that surged like fireworks in the night sky. As Clara gathered her belongings after the meeting, exhilaration coursed through her. She could feel their united spirit, a cosmic push against doubt. But in the pit of her stomach, a tinge of anxiety stirred. What would Charles do now that he was faced with a community rising to its feet? But as far as Clara was concerned, the battle would start tomorrow, bright and bold, as they all came together. She believed fiercely that the heart of Maplewood could not only sustain the past but prosper into a future that honored their roots while forging ahead. Walking home that night, amidst flickers of streetlights and whispers of the wind, the memories of a shared laughter echoed in her ears, a guiding lullaby. She believed in Maplewood, believed their stories could light the way forward. If they could unite, they could reclaim hope and hold it tightly in their hands together. As dawn broke the next morning, Clara rose with purpose, ready to face whatever came. She smiled, bracing for the day, knowing that a community united in spirit could change the course of destiny. Tomorrow would be the first step into a brave new chapter for all of them. And as she prepared for the festival, she knew the stakes had never been higher. This was their moment to shine, to embrace what made them unique. They would show everyone, including Charles, that the spirit of Maplewood would never be eclipsed. Now, as we wrap up this important tale, you need to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, your support is crucial. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this whirlwind ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. This is the moment to show your support for stories that matter. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Let's unite and keep the spirit alive.